Hello and welcome everyone, I am Madals. This is some Heart of the Swarm beta action. It's going to be on Star Station. It's going to be a PvZ. Let me introduce these two players. Up in the top right, we have the red Protoss player from Anexis. It is Verdi, who is one of the finalists for the Eastside UK Masters, which makes me very, very happy because, of course, I'll be casting those grand finals, cast all the online stuff, and it is great to see him. And, yeah, he's going to be up against the blue Zerg in the top left. No longer with Team EG, it is LzGamer. So, this should be good. They're in the close by ground positions. You can still spawn on all of the positions, so it's not force crossed or anything like that. And what does that really mean for the game? Well, it means that LZ has got to take this base, which isn't a huge problem. It's quite wide open. There's nothing too wrong with it. It's just that a push coming in from here can actually position itself quite nicely in this sort of area, which can cut off reinforcements and just generally be a bit awkward. But for Verdi, he's going to be able to secure up his natural quite simply. It's a narrow ramp here, a narrow entrance rather. You can chuck down a forge fast expansion quite happily, but due to the pylon being up in the high ground, I'm going to see if it's going to be one of those gateway expands that I have started to really love from Protoss players against Zerg, where and indeed it is, where you get this gateway up, you go for some Zealot Stalker with a Mothership Core. And the Mothership Core is the really important part, which makes it really viable, because early game, Zerg's only anti-air is in the form of a Queen. And the Mothership Core just gives a little bit more damage, it can be really effective. You've got the Time Warp there as well if you want to chuck it down on, say, a mineral line or something. It's good fun. And compare that to, say, if you go for a forge fast expansion where a Zerg player can just blindly take stuff, and oh my goodness, LZ, he has gone for a hatchery first against Protoss. That is always a dangerous move if they go for a forge fast expansion, because then they can cannon rush you. But luckily for LZ, that is not going to be the case. Verdi, he's getting up that gateway, as I said. He's got the first gas, second gas coming down as well. So there's going to be two gas, should be a couple of workers in each one. Probably, I'm thinking that there's going to be two workers in each gas, to be honest. And the reason for that is then you'll just get a nice amount of gas income and you'll still be able to expand behind it. But the drone coming up sees that chrono boosting coming down on the Nexus. Knows, however, that it's not a Mothership Core, because you get a different graphic if it's a Mothership Core coming out. So that is good, a little pro tip for you there. Meanwhile, the gas just coming in, sees both gas, sees that there's not many mining from it, sees 2 and 1. That is important information as well for LZ, just to deduce what his opponent could be doing. We've got the Zealot coming out, the Cyber Core finishing up. Back for LZ, he's just getting up his hatch, he's getting up his gas, and he's getting up his spawning pool. This gas needed earlier to fend off this aggression. He needs speed sooner, potentially also needs roaches sooner as well. So that's why we're seeing the gas at a much earlier point than we generally would see it. So that is all fine. A pylon now nearer the front, just creating a bit more of a tighter choke at the top of the ramp, just in case anything was trying to come in. That drone does manage to get out, the Overlord getting some good information. Still no Mothership Core though. And that's quite interesting. I thought we'd be seeing the Mothership Core at around the 20-ish supply mark, but apparently, no, we shall not. Instead, Verdi just wanted to get all the way up to his complete saturation on both gas and the mineral line. Getting some additional gateways now as well, so it's going to be some 3-gate pressure, which is going to be quite aggressive, and LZ does definitely now need to get out a Roach Warren to help him deal with this. Zerglings alone won't be able to do it, because there's going to be some sentries out, as we're seeing, they're getting produced already. That means force fields, and just there's really too many gateway units, in my opinion, for just Lings alone to deal with it. But here comes the Mothership Core, the all-important thing, and that graphic, just to show I'm not crazy, I don't know if you can see it, but it looks slightly different, and as a result, you know that, well, it's a Mothership Core, not probes. So, back to what LZ is doing. Queens coming out, still no Roach Warren though, so apparently he's going to go for a lot of Queens and a lot of Lings. It's another way you can deal with this. It means you free up more lava in order to get some more drones out as well, while still getting a defensive force. Warp Gate Tech not getting chrono boosted at the moment, instead the Mothership Core was, and that means the Warp Gate Tech is still a good 40 seconds away from completion. There's no sign of a proxy pylon yet. The Overlord's just keeping a check around. The Mothership Core apparently just coming down. Has this not been scouted yet? No, it hasn't. Ooh. I didn't actually realise that. Verdi has no clue where his opponent is. He's going to go for a 3-gate expansion. That just results in, obviously, that Nexus being exceptionally later than we'd normally see it. But on the plus side, it means that there's 3 gates out. And those 3 gates are going to produce a lot of units, and that can potentially deal some nice damage. It's also going to throw LZ off his normal kind of builds, where every Zerg is just used to getting that 3rd base up at about 4 to 4 minutes 40. So what we've got coming down now is going to be the 3rd base. It's in a direct response to this, because the Overlord does have vision to see that, hey, my opponent's expanding, I now need to expand as well. It's just staple of Zerg play. Meanwhile, we've got the second and third gas coming down. The fourth one not taken yet. The Queens need to keep injecting though. And ultimately, Verdi just needs to decide when he's going to move out. With those 3 gates, you can get a good number of stuff. There comes the hallucinated Phoenix in order to come and get some more information. The Mothership Core does now know where the Zerg player is, just due to the powers of deduction. If it's not bottom right, not bottom left, and I'm in top right, my opponent must be in the top left. So over comes the hallucinated Phoenix, taking a lot of damage from those Queens. Does get taken down before it gets into the main base. Doesn't see the lair timing, but the Mothership Core will come in and see the third base coming down, so that is fine. That is everything that will want to be scouted. Meanwhile, we do see Verdi is trying to get down that Twilight Council. There it is. So that Twilight Council could just be for a quick tech up, could be for some blink pressure into this base. This third base is very, very strong, but the hallucinated Phoenix now coming in, sees all the different timings, see the Spore Crawler there, and just generally gets a good read. The Mothership Core happily floating about all by its lonesome. Mothership Core is very lonely. There can only be one of them at a time. Never has a friend. But still, coming back here, the Twilight Council happily there, just researching Blink, so that is to be expected. No sign of a robotics facility though, so no Robo means no Colossus for a long time, no Observer, no Immortals, no Roaches yet either for LZ, so he's just going to be sitting there on purely Ling, and he's not even getting any upgrades. All he's got is the Overlord speed upgrade to get some more scouting information. The Zerglings trying to keep an eye on when the third gets taken, also if any move out. This is a really staple trick that I don't see enough players do. If you're playing Zerg, 1 speedling outside their natural, know when they move out, 1 at their third base to know when they try and expand. That is just some really critical information. That Mothership Core, a little bit exposed, is on stop command, is not going to be able to escape now, and this is slightly careless out of Verdi in my opinion. You should not be losing a Mothership Core just to 3 Queens because it's sitting around doing nothing. That's quite a big loss. Meanwhile, the Stargate coming down, so are we going to be seeing a transition into Skytos? Maybe. Are we just going to see some Voidways? Probably. LZ though, getting the Infestation Pit down, so could be going to a transition straight towards into Swarm Hosts. Very, very good against Protoss, especially when they do not have yet down any splash. No Colossi and no High Templar for Storm mean that Locust Waves deal a lot of damage. Stargates, admittedly, or anything that comes out of a Stargate, is immune to Locust because Locust can only attack ground, but it does still mean that you can lose a lot of your gateway units. You don't have support for those Stargate forces, and that can be a bit of a problem. And Skytos does take a long time to get up, but if you get an Observer out, which is one thing that Verdi does not have at the moment, he has no robotics facility, you can come and pick off those Swarm Hosts using Tempest in their long range, and that's why every Zerg player should ideally bring along some Overseers with their army to snipe off the Observer. So Enduring Locust is getting researched right now. Still knows that there's no third base, but it is going to be coming down shortly. The Zergling was picked off, and as such you know that, hey, my opponent's going to try and take a third, better take my fourth. And that is just staying a base up. The Swarm Host count up to 5, not really reaching the mass needed. You need roughly about 8 to 10 just from... That's not, by the way, that's not like an official figure though, you need 8 to 10. It's just a simple observation from casting a lot of games that 8 to 10 Swarm Hosts is where they start becoming really quite difficult to deal with. But the Spire coming down as well, that means Swarm Host Corruptor, which is a very nice composition against this sort of force. The trouble is though, is that these Voidways just deal so much damage to Corruptors, it becomes exceptionally difficult. Now we see that the Swarm Hosts are burrowed, and there is no map vision to know that this force is coming across, but the scouting information does go down. Straight away that hallucinated Phoenix sees the Swarm Host, and now Verdi knows what is coming. The more Voidways are on their way out. Some Speedlings just getting the confirmation that that third is there. May even try and get a sentry kill, but will not be successful in doing so. And the one thing that concerns me actually with LZ's play is he's got no upgrades. That's compared to Verdi's +2 already done. So when you're looking at that, going into the later game, you need those upgrades oh so desperately. More Swarm Hosts coming out, the Spire coming out as well. The Corruptors will have to start sometime soon. Some Overlords have been picked off by these Voidways, which is very, very frustrating. This single Oracle as well, boldly looking to come and be a pain. The key thing about this Oracle though is the Envision ability. Now it's not about its damage, because you need Envision with the lack of a robotics facility, because without an Observer you have no way to deal with these Swarm Hosts once they're burrowed, and that is something that Verdi is going to be acutely aware of. The Dark Shrine coming down, so some DTs, could be for just a bit of aggression. Trying to poke and prod in, but knows their Spore Crawlers down, so it won't be that successful. Much more likely actually to just be to get some Archons out to try and deal with potentially Mutalisks. I don't believe any of this has been scouted though, so it doesn't know that the Spire is coming down, but it means that just having a couple of Archons just helps you deal with Corruptors. Any Mutors should they be coming out. Mutors, very strong just due to their health generation rate, and really, we're just looking to be quite passive for the moment, at least. The Locust moving forward, that's saying, hey, let's take the watchtower, let's make sure we're all good. Does he see the single Oracle? The answer is yes, he does. So knows that's out there now. That could potentially get taken out by those mutas very quickly, which would be a bit of a loss. But as we see now, the Protest Force moving forward, the wave of Locusts trying to come through. They should die fairly quickly, but could take a couple of units with them and will do as well. And of course, every unit you kill with Locusts is free, because Locusts are free units. Now the mutas came in, knocked out that Oracle very fast indeed, and I actually prefer mutas rather than corruptors against the Void Rays, and the reason for that is because the mutas are light, so don't take the bonus damage, and prismatic alignment doesn't help. Quite a few probes getting taken down here. Photon overcharge has been triggered, but all of the mutas get away, one on very low health, but it will take just 2 minutes to heal back up to full. That's knocked Verdi down to 54 workers to the 68 of LZ. Workers killed, 8 dead, so nothing to be ashamed of there. The 4th base up and running now, or well, at least the 4th hatchery up for LZ. He needs to really start producing some drones down there. Also getting up his 7th and 8th gas just to have a good gas income, because he's got a lot of minerals at the moment, but not the gas suspender. The 2nd Spire on its way. That'll be for the double air upgrades. We've also got +1 air weapons about to complete. The muta flock getting rather large, up to 25 at this point, and 25 mutas is able to do an awful lot of damage, especially when there are so few units to deal with them. Just really the only things that can even attack them are those 7 Stalkers, 7 Void Rays, 5 Phoenix, and 4 Sentries. Now the Phoenix, they're great if they can kite the Mutalisks, but one volley from this many and a lot of those Phoenix will die. Some DTs coming in here, but where is the detection? I'll tell you where. Nowhere to be seen. And that means that until these Overseers come over, it's just 3 units, but now they are there. The DTs have got cleaned up. That is good news. Fleet Beacon coming out, transitioning to Sky Toss now for Verdi. Good move, no problems with that at all. The Spire half done, the Macro Hatch coming up for LZ at the moment. The Locust chilling by the Watchtower, just being like, you know what, we're going to hold this Watchtower. Make sure that you don't come and try and have a go of me. In terms of being cost effective, well, LZ obviously being very good in that sense at the moment due to having the free Locusts, but the thing he's got to be careful about is that you can't let Verdi turtle up and get up a Sky Toss force. That's when you really will be running into problems. It gets very hard to try and stop that with any composition I've seen thrown at it, so that's something that LZ does have to be cautious about. If we look at the mutas there, well, they're happily just sitting around, their numbers increasing ever more, up to 27 already. There's also the 17 Swarm Hosts. This is a very sizable force, and LZ is now maxed out. And so there's not much benefit of him waiting too much longer. The 4th base now starting for Verdi, whereas the 5th base just on its way out now for LZ. We do have a good number of Phoenix just sitting around. We do have the Anion Pulse Crystals coming out, so that increases the range, will help the Phoenix kite the Mutalisks even better, but that takes a lot of micro, and in come the first wave of Locusts, and this is the thing that Verdi does not want to be seeing happen. He does not want to be having to deal with these Locusts yet. He's going to get contained, he's going to have to engage them, because otherwise he's going to lose a base, but it's just how, it doesn't matter how many of these Locusts you kill, it's how many units you lose killing them. So it's all about how quickly you can engage. These Phoenix coming quite close are getting some good damage off, though the Queen's helping as well. And there's a good number of Queens there, which are pretty tanky. They're going to be able to soak up quite a bit of the fire, deal quite a lot of damage. Zealot's going down, and of course, as we can see, every time you pick off a Zealot, it's 100 minerals that you've just cost your opponent for nothing of your own. We have the +1 Zerg Flyer coming down, +2 Zerg Flyer weapons not done yet though, so we'd like to see that started. The only reason to get a double Spire is to get the double upgrades. A Spore Crawler coming down, and well, here we see that the Muta's taking an awful lot of damage. Do try and get a few volleys off. The Queen's helping as well, but those Phoenix doing some nice damage. The Swarm Host moving forward just a little way. Where is the detection? Well, the detection can only come in the form of an Oracle. There is one on the field, but where is it? That is a good question. It'll try and send me on there, but it's not going to work. There we go. So Envision is now being used, coming in, trying to engage. The Queens are going to have to do some nice damage here. The Void Rays absolutely shredding through so much of this force. Transfuse is going off anywhere. Spore Call is trying to help deal some more damage to the Phoenix, but the Mutalisks are getting taken down very, very quickly, as we can see some Corruptors coming out to try and deal with those Phoenix, but the Spore Crawlers, well, they are still looking good. Verdi has left the game. He has been defeated. He had no detection to deal with those Locusts and lost all of his supporting gateway units. So, LZ, very passive game there up until the end, where it was just a flurry of climactic action, but I very much enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Make sure you like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, and I hope to see each and every one of you tomorrow for yet another new cast. Bye for now.